Okay, back again with another backpacking meal. So this is another favorite of mine. When I take on the trip, I've taken this from way back in my early trips. Maybe even my first trip I ever went on, I took this. So this is called beef stroganoff, backpacking beef stroganoff. Again, it's not a very complicated meal. I will warn you, in case I forget to tell you when I'm actually making it on the trail, too much water is the death of this meal. So it'll be edible, but you want to be careful not to put too much water when you're making your sauce, because it will greatly affect the taste and flavor of the job. You'll dilute the meal rather. You'll dilute it too much. So we start off with shepherd's pie. We start off with beef stroganoff rather with elbow macaroni. Again, I like elbow macaroni the best. It cooks up easy. It doesn't retain too much water. It cooks up quickly. And it packs in nice too, is another thing that packs in the bag. So I got roughly a third of a bag of elbow macaroni. I don't measure too much. I'm trying to fill a pot, and I like to eat. I eat big, and I fill this pot here, which is the small pot in my pot set. It'll fill it right full. I've gone with other people before, and it's just too much food for them. They don't. The portion's too big. So if this looks like too much food for you, you know, that rate full, dense with food, then you can reduce your sizes down a little bit. If it's not enough, you can go up, of course. Or if you're cooking for two, you can put more in. So I usually eat it out of my big pot. And most meals that I make are 3-pot meals, and I believe this is a 3-pot meal as well. I usually don't know until I get out. This is my frying pan that I use as well. And they all nest in together. So start off with about a third of a bag of elbow macaroni. I try to get the air to the bag if I can, and I usually put everything in an outside bag, I guess you could say, is to protect it, because when I'm out canoeing, which is what I'm doing, canoeing and portaging, it's very important that I don't get any water into my food if I capsize or whatever. It pours rain and you're pushing through the bushes and whatever in the wilderness area where I travel. It's very important to protect the food from any water. So you start off with beef stroganoff with your elbow macaroni, your pasta. You can also use potato flakes if you like, and these are just macaroni noodles from Walmart. I'm here in Canada, so I just was able to get those at Walmart. Walmart's usually sold out of things, but they had that time when I did my shopping. Then you need ground beef for your beef stroganoff. So there's some ground beef, and always use lean or extra lean ground beef for dehydrating, because fat doesn't dehydrate and it'll go rancid. It'll spoil it. It'll make it taste terrible, and it won't get soft. It'll also keep moisture in it the more fat you have in it. So you put that in your bag, and everything's going to fit in this bag. And this bag full right here, that bag full, will fill this pot of food. It will be full basically to the top, and it will be a hearty, heavy meal to as you sit around a fire, relaxing from your day of either hiking or portaging or paddling or whatever it happens to be. So the sauce you have to make for this is cream of mushroom soup. So it's a can of cream of mushroom soup, and I use the low-fat cream of mushroom soup. And what I've done is it dries like leather on my dehydrator, and I dehydrate everything myself. And then I take it and I break it up into pieces because it's really crispy and crunchy, and I put it in a food processor and chop it up. So we have a Ninja that we use, my wife does. So in the cream of mushroom soup, you want to add some sour cream. So this is just sour cream I bought at the store. I put it on my liquid trays in the dehydrator. Again, dehydrated it kind of like a leather and chopped it all up. So I want to add that right into the sauce. Just use the one bag. And as you can see, I don't measure. So it's a full can of cream of mushroom soup, and is a generous portion. So I would say I put about a tablespoon and a half of sour cream in there, dehydrated sour cream that is. I put a little more in because I want it to have that nice tangy sour cream flavor. One thing about this meal is that it tastes fantastic if you make it well, but it doesn't come back smooth. That sour cream won't come back smooth. It'll be kind of chunky. I will talk about that probably to make the video, but in case I forget. It'll come back chunky, kind of like cottage cheese. Not quite, but you know, it won't go all smooth like it was originally, but it'll taste awesome, and will certainly add to the flavor of the meal. So, into the bag, the sauce goes, a full can of cream of mushroom. You need mushrooms in beef stroganoff, so there's some dehydrated mushrooms. You just do those from raw, slice them up, and put them on a dehydrator tray. and in they go into here. And I carry salt and pepper with me as well for seasoning, so I always have salt and pepper to add on the trail if I want to. I have a great little salt and pepper shaker that I got from Mech here in Canada. Great thing. So here we go. Beef stroganoff in a bag, backpacker, and big heavy meal right there. Also, the beef stroganoff has been my favorite meal. In other words, it turned out the best on a few trips. So it's certainly a favorite, and it comes a lot. I wouldn't say it comes every trip I go, but it goes a lot. All right, today we're making beef stroganoff. So we're going to rehydrate the vegetables. We've got time to do that, so the longer time is your friend on this. So we got the mushrooms for the stroganoff. We'll put those in there. I'm going to put this stuff all in together for rehydrating. You got mushroom stuck in the bag. There you go. Get out of there. We got our ground beef. So we'll put that in there as well. I believe that's it. Check our bags. We got our sauce and our noodles. So we'll have that. We'll make that up later when we make the meal. So time is your friend when it comes to rehydrating. One little tip I read, if you don't have ample time like me, there you go, the mushrooms and ground beef in there. A little bit shady where I'm at. Yeah, I read one time that if you don't have this kind of time to do the rehydrating, if you're hiking or whatever, you can use your Nalgene bottle or some kind of a water bottle. You can put your stuff that needs to rehydrate in there on the trail a couple hours before you stop for supper and let it rehydrate that way. Now, I've never done that. I certainly wouldn't put my meat in my Nalgene bottle that I was drinking out of, but maybe if you had a separate bottle of some sort or a collapsible bottle, that might work if you're on the trail. But anyway, time is your friend. There we are, covered. It's going to sit until supper time. We're ready to cook. All right, it is supper time. It is time for eating the beef stroganoff. Well, making it, I guess. Don't you laugh at me, Aaron. So we've got things rehydrated good. All those mushrooms look awesome. Mushrooms and ground beef. We'll bring them to a boil. Meantime, I'm going to use my big pot over here. We're going to use that for doing the pasta. So here's our baggie of prepackaged stuff. There's my sauce, which is cream mushroom soup and sour cream. And in here we've got our elbow macaroni. Dump that in there. Cover that with some filtered water. Macaroni. Use more water than you need to. It just takes longer to boil and uses more fuel. Hello. So like with most of my meals, I'm going to try to conserve the flavor of the water as much as I can. I'm going to make my sauce in here, so I'll dump it in my frying pan. Oh, doesn't that look good? Wouldn't you like to spoon that right up? Oh, yummy. It tastes better once it's got some water in it. Okay. We have boilage? Not quite. We'll bring this to a boil. We'll get our pasta going. This meal is not real complicated to make. A little tricky, but 3 pots again. Most meals, if you don't like dishes, you don't want to cook like this because there's always dishes at the campsite. There's not too many things that I make that are what's usually called one-pot meals. Glutton for punishment. That's what I am. You don't have to agree with me here.
Oh, yes, I do.
Glutton for punishment. A washed pot never boils. Alright, there we go, boiling away. See her boiling, blah, 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 blah. So that brings that up to temperature. Now we'll do our pasta. And we'll bring it to a boil, and I'll be back once she boils. Alright, we're back. Pasta's been boiling here for a couple minutes. So when you're doing pasta, you want to make sure you give it a little stir because it will all stick together into the bottom. Helps keep it broken up. You just cook it until it's tender. Some people dehydrate their pasta. I tried that once upon a time, but I found it took just as long to cook it. It wasn't any faster. So didn't use any less fuel, and maybe I just didn't know what I was doing, but I just cooked the pasta from right out of the box. No other processing. I don't think that's quite ready yet by the looks of it. I usually do a test piece. A little bit crunchy yet. Another minute. Crunchy pasta doesn't make a very good dish. Now the water I have in my mushrooms and my ground beef, that's what I would call the most important water. I'm going to try to use that to rehydrate my sauce. If that's not enough, it's ready. If that's not enough, then I'll use the bleed-off water. Bleed-off. The drain-off water. I don't know where this bleed-off term came from. Drain water from my pasta to complete the sauce. So I'll bring this to a boil again. It's hot now, so it shouldn't take too long. Ooh, it smells good. Ooh, you like mushrooms? I like mushrooms. You like mushrooms? We like mushrooms. Mushrooms are good. We should turn that into a camp song. The mushroom song.
We need steak. We need steak.
So, some people like steak, but we like mushrooms. Give us a mushroom any day. Maybe we can put this on the vegan channel too. Starting to bubble up there. I'm just going to give her a little bit of a stir as it's boiling, just to make sure everything is not stuck together. Sometimes things will stick together if they're just sitting. Meat, not usually, but man, that smells good. She's going to be a good one. Stroganoff meal is one of the first meals I ever, maybe even the first meal I ever kind of created for out in the backcountry. And I will drain the water from my meat and mushrooms. There's not a lot of water in there. I'm going to drain it all. Now, like I said in the prep video, one thing about this and the chicken broccoli casserole as well, actually, is don't expect the sauce to come back just like it come out of a can or a container. It's not going to happen that way. It's going to be grainy. The only way I know if you get it smooth like that, then is if you you'd have to work it. You'd have to rehydrate it really early, and it would have to sit as a sauce for a while. And you know, to me, that's not that important. It's more the flavor, and it's going to taste real good. That's a combination of cream and mushroom soup and sour cream. I'm going to keep working it, adding liquid to it. It's thickening here already, which means that the powder is breaking down, but it will have kind of a chunky sort of appearance and texture to it. But once you put it in with the rest of the dish, it will all blend in, and it will stick to the noodles and stuff, and it's not going to matter. But in the pan, I guess my warning is, in the pan, it may not look like the most appetizing thing you're going to ever eat in this lifetime. I'm too thick there, so I need more water in that. So I'm going to drain off what I have in my pasta, which is very little. So that will give me kind of thick, starchy water as well to work with. And just like rehydrating your vegetables, time is on your side. So the longer you play with this and stir it and smash it with the back of your spoon like I do here, the more the powder that you've made from the soup will break down, and the more liquidy it will become. I'm going to put more water in that. Just going to make sure that this is good here. Oh, I've got more water in there yet. That's the good water. We want all that. Yummy, yummy, yummy. So I'm going
And I'm going to stir that in. I'm just going to leave it on kind of a low heat. It's cool and the stove is not working 100% anyway, so it's easier to control the heat when you've got none coming. So I'll leave that there, and I'm going to let that simmer a little bit. And while that's simmering, I'm going to add my other ingredients together. So you can see it bubbling there, so I'm going to mix up my pasta because it's all kind of clumped together from sitting in the pot. And I'm going to I'm going to put in my ground beef and mushrooms in there. I need 2 hands to do this, so let's set it down. Okay, we're done with that pot. Let's move it away. Put that on to keep the heat in. Give that a stir. You see it's thickened up as it's boiled. But it's also breaking down the powder. It's getting more and more liquidy. So if you don't have enough sauce, if you don't put enough water in it and make it saucy enough, then you won't have enough to go around to your entire dish. So you want to have your stroganoff flavor. I'm going to add a little more water to that. I added quite a bit of water actually. You want your stroganoff flavor in all of your bites. Every bite. Now I got too much water in it, which is okay. It'll cause me to play with it a little more. Oh, I got a pine needle in it. Oh, it's gonna be good. Right there. Can you see him? Right here. Oh, yummy. That's gonna be good. Why take it out? There'll just be another one take its place. I don't know how many. I couldn't venture a guess of how many dead pine needles I've eaten on the course of my life. Alright, so that water was cold, so it stopped boiling. Now we're coming up again. So in the meantime, I'm going to mix up my ingredients here. So you can see we get it all in here. We're going to mix it together because we want mushrooms, ground beef, and pasta in every bite. And we'll do the same thing with the sauce. Once it's ready, we'll pour it over the top, kind of like a gravy, scrape the pot out, and then we'll mix it in to the dish to make it all, as best as we can, uniform. Uniform product. And you'll be getting this at the restaurant down the road. You'll be so good, you'll be serving this to the public. How'd you like to come over to my house? We're going to have some backpacking beef stroganoff. You have to say it like that, though. Otherwise, nobody will believe you how good it is. If you like mushrooms. If you don't like mushrooms, probably should have skipped this video, huh? That's right, because we're having beef stroganoff! It gets bigger every time I say it. Oh, exciting. The squirrels are running for cover. The resident woodpecker that beats his head off the tree has gone. He's left. He's scared. Because we're having beef stroganoff! Okay. Enough of that silliness. Okay, so that's going to be my sauce. I'm going to just let it cool just ever so slightly. Just want to thicken just a little bit more. Let's see it there. Again, chunky. Not smooth like it just come out of the can, but you're going to get all the flavor of that. Okay. Maybe chunky's not, maybe grainy is a better word. So, all that yummy sauce is going to get poured over the dish. Okay. And you can see it doesn't look 100% great when you first do that, but you're going to mix it all in. So you get a little bit on every bite. So it's just going to look kind of like a pale pasta dish. Right there. Beef stroganoff. There it is. Yummy, yummy. Time to eat.